Good day, ConcepStore viewers, and welcome to the ConcepStore Show. And we're here to talk about how air purifiers could keep your home safer. I'm Paolo Concepcion, and I'm with our air purifier specialist, Sir Kaloy.
Good day.
To start off this segment, Sir Kaloy, I would just like to ask on your opinion regarding the new strains of COVID-19. As it was mentioned by Dr. Lientron, that the strains are known to be airborne, and that, well, compared to before where people could get infected by direct contact of droplets, now people can it's possible for COVID-19 to be to retain in the air just because it's a small molecule that could hang within air.
It's never really been specified or being specific that is whether it is airborne or not. But we know for a fact that we are talking about of from 0.1 to 0.3 micron. At that rate, it's quite small. Now, once this one travels out from a positive COVID-19 person, there will be some certain possibility that it could stay afloat in the air because of its smallness, really quite small. Yes, for quite some time, but for how long, not really definite. Yes, could be airborne.
Thank you, Sir Kaloy. So with that though, what can we share with our viewers though on general practices they could do to help protect themselves or shield their personal spaces, whether it would be at home, in the office, or any closed space they would be? How would be the best practices to prevent
I'm
any
glad you asked
infection?
that question. That's why we have introduced the air purifier. Now, in front of you, we have the carrier and the Kundura purifier. This would definitely clean the air. Now, when we talk about air purifier, the very definition of air purifier, it eliminates or decompose or remove contaminants that could be present in the air, thus improving the air indoor quality. This is what we need.
Thank you, Kaloy, for the explanation of the air purifiers.
Not
So,
myself.
based on your explanation, for customers that are looking to buy an air purifier or those who already have an air purifier, what would be the technologies that they should look at
All
when
right.
using it?
I'm glad you asked me that. There are a lot of technology or the kind of purifying techniques that is available in the market. But what we have here are the most direct approach is the HEPA filters. Now, our product consists of all HEPA filters, and besides that, the HEPA filters function as a filter. It's more of like a filtration technique, which is the most direct approach and the most effective in cleaning your air. The other technology would be is on the UV exposure. Now, the Kundura, which has a CADR of 400, has that UVC light. The CADR 120 also have that, and we also have for the carrier CADR of 360, 260, and 510, which is also have the UVC light. Now, in spite of that technology, we also have the activated carbons. Now, the functions of the activated carbons, it absorbs the volatile organic chemicals. When we talk about volatile organic chemicals, these are odors generated from the chemicals like paint, benzene, or any other foul odors, because anything that's present that is foul presence in the air, it absorbs it. This is the work of the carbon, the activated carbon. And we have that for the Kundura models and also the carrier series. We also have the PHOTO-CATALYTIC oxidation. Now, the process of that photocatalytic oxidation is that it utilizes the UVC and use a titanium oxide that once being exposed to the UVC, it emits hydroxyl. The hydroxyl attach itself to the virus or the bacteria, then rendering them helpless. The function of which it decomposes the bacteria and just simply disintegrating them or rendering them helpless. And the byproduct of this one is just simply water vapor and carbon dioxide. Harmful, and that is a byproduct of clean air. So that one is both present for the carrier in this series, the 260, 360, and the 510 CADR. For this one, we have a different kind of photocatalytic, but it's called the cold catalyst. The method is different, but the outcome is the same. Both disintegrate
Showing the
or
filter.
decompose the bacteria or whatever pathogens that is present in the air. It releases those hydroxyls, then attaching themselves to the bacteria and rendering them helpless. This is the sample of the air filter which Condura uses. This is a 4-in-1 filter. The first one is the refilter. The second one would be the coating of the antibac. The third one is the HEPA filter, and the fourth one is the activated carbon.
Ah, this one.
Yes, the black one. You would notice that anything that is black, you can assume that is the activated carbon.
Ah, understood. So the one on top though is the HEPA filter.
Yes, it's on top of the activated carbons. So the green one is the antibacterial coating.
Oh, okay. So in a way, first it has to get through the antibacterial coating and then the HEPA filter.
Correct.
May
It's
I
a
ask?
process, but it also has this UV light that is present in the Condura Air Purifier.
Ah, yes, which I heard it helps neutralize the bacteria or viruses since once it gets captured in the filter, the UV light in a way irradiates the viruses.
Actually, the UV lights attacks its method of attack is on the molecular level. It focuses on the DNA. It breaks down the DNA and eventually breaks it down, so leaving it harmless. Once the DNA is being damaged, then it will no longer function as a bacteria or even a virus for that matter.
Okay, interesting. Just for the sake, because I believe some of our viewers may also be asking is, what kind of HEPA filters do we have for all of the air purifiers?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. All of this for this model, for the carrier and both for Condura, carrier and Condura, we're utilizing H11. It has a 95% efficiency in capturing the 0.1 microns. When you talk about 0.1 microns, you can just imagine a 1 milligram times 10 to the negative 6. So how many zero is that? So 0.00000. That's how small it is. So you can just imagine inhaling that kind of particulate. So that's how small it can absorb or trap or filter those particulates. It's very effective.
Okay, I see. So, may I ask, because of course, for example, this air purifier, we have the HEPA filter and anions. How do anions work?
Okay. An ion is being generated by an ion generator. All right. This one has an ion. Both carrier of this one, as shown to you, has an ion generator, but in this case, it has a UVC light. For this one, doesn't have a UVC light, but these two have an ion generator that produces negative ions.
So both of these have anions?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Both of these have an ion generator that produces an ion.
Okay.
When you talk about an ion, it pertains to a negative ion. These ions attach itself to these pollutants, pathogens, or even viruses, that's making them very magnetic and heavy. Once this one attaches itself, it literally falls down, or even attach itself to a wall, to a certain lattice, because its function becomes very attractive to other elements.
Okay.
So it would literally fall down, and it will no longer be airborne.
Okay, so that's how it neutralizes the bacteria or viruses.
Yes.
As the molecules gather, it falls down.
It falls down.
Okay, understood. And then, may I ask, since these have anions and that one has a UVC light, what would be the difference with this one?
The difference of this one, in terms of its functionality, and this one has an ion generator, but in this case, it has a UVC. Both having UVC, but this one have a different type of filter that is antibacterial.
Yes, the green portion
The green
that you
portion.
mentioned.
This is the antibacterial coating. So
maybe it would be good to show both.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the Honduras filter, and then this is the carrier.
Yes.
360.
Okay.
Well, you have the
This is the
Wait.
HEPA filter H11. It filtrates the particulate. It traps whatever that is floating in the air. And this is for the air filter for this type. It has both H11 HEPA filter. Now the black one is the activated carbon. This absorbs whatever odor that could be present in the air. It absorbs it and eliminates it, and it stays there so that the air could be fresh. Hindi ko nakikita.
Similar to this one here, since they both have carbon.
Yes, both have activated carbon. So the difference is that this one has an anti-bac coating.
Okay.
The purpose of that function is that whatever particulate that passes through, either pathogens, pollens, dust, even yeast, molds, it coats the surrounding or its envelope,
Okay.
rendering whatever function it is helpless. Then it will just be a particulate matter.
Okay, so when it gets caught here, the coating
It coats itself.
it envelops it, and
Yes.
then so either the pollen or any type of molecule will remain stuck here.
Yes, it will remain stuck, but prolonged exposure of the UVC will eventually decompose it, and eventually it will just die down.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. I didn't know that's how it worked actually. Okay, so thank you for the explanation actually on the technologies.
My pleasure. My
That's
pleasure.
a very those were all very insightful, since I didn't know about how exactly the filters for each air purifier worked and the different types of filters that it has. I thought it was only the HEPA filter, the UVC light, but apparently the other filters also play a role in neutralizing or decomposing the other molecules. So I would like to ask also, since we have several types of air purifiers here, and each one have their own strengths, but also have different filters and features. Which one would you recommend? How the usage of how would you recommend where we would better use each air purifier?
Okay. The usage would be is putting them in the center of the room wherein the air is being distributed evenly. Now, if that is not possible, but make sure one rule is that the air intake should be a minimum, should be free of 50 centimeters, and the discharge of the air, which is normally from the top, it should be a minimum of 10 centimeters. That's how free flowing can be obtained.
From there, for the benefit also of our viewers, I would like to ask, in terms of taking care of our air purifiers, how is it best to maintain the performance? Just to show also, so I'll just wear this gloves for safety, because I'll be handling this used air purifier filter, which comes from this, compared to this new one. So this is 1 month's time, and this is the new filter. So with this type of filter, how long does it take before we need to replace it, or can we also just clean this up and then reuse this filter?
Okay. I'm glad you asked that question because it really varies on the area that is being conditioned space. That if the space is heavily dense with a lot of pollutants, so the period could be shorter. Now, if the space is quite clean, so it could be longer. So it really depends. But these units, it will help you. Our Kundura and Carrier has a timer set that would remind you that it needs to be replaced. Now, take the case of the CADR 120. This has 2,000 hours, meaning it will remind you after once it approaches the 2,000 hour time limit. For this case, for the 260, 360, including the 510, it has a timer setting that will remind you of 1,600 hours, 1,600 hours. For the CADR 400 Kundura, this one has 22 hours. Similar with the car, it needs maintenance. So for the car, you need to change the filter for air. Similar with this one. This one needs to be replaced. I would not recommend that you clean this one, but just replace it.
Okay.
So that it can perform to its full expectation as specified in the nameplate.
Okay, so you won't recommend to have this cleaned and then reused. It's best to have it replaced.
Yes.
After the recommended hours.
Because once you clean it, you're also exposed to its contaminant. It can also be damaging or be health hazardous to the one cleaning.
Okay,
but
I
just
see.
have to clean it, dispose of it, wrap it around with a garbage bag so that it could not contaminate any further.
Okay, I see. Okay. Thanks for that explanation, Kaloy. And
You're welcome.
I guess that's all of my questions for the air purifiers. So I believe the things that we have tackled for this entire video is, of course, first, it's important to have air purifiers because, especially like the COVID-19, it is airborne.
Yes.
And the air purifiers are a definite additional shield for everyone to be able to circulate the air and filter out the impurities.
Yeah.
And then, of course, secondly, you have the technologies. So right now, majority of the air purifiers here have unique technologies like the UV light, the UVC light, the HEPA filter, and then for some that have the anions and the cold catalyst, which help, in a way, use molecules that attach to the bacteria or viruses to neutralize and decompose them. So, very interesting. And I'm glad that we were able to have this talk with you because it helped us to get a better understanding on why air purifiers are useful.
You have to remember that we are at war with this pandemic. We are at war with the COVID. not only the COVID-19 but all those pathogens that can be harmful to us. And this is our best line of defense. That's why we have this product to protect us of our conditioned space. And this, in the outcome, will improve our air quality, specifically our indoor air quality.
Well, that's all actually,
Thank you.
Color. So thank you for being here. And thank you also for the viewers for watching. I hope you guys were able to learn a lot from this video. And feel free to reach us in ConcepStore Facebook and the ConcepStore.com, where we're always available to answer your inquiries. Once again, dear ConcepStore viewers, I'm Paolo Concepcion, and thanks for joining us in this air purifier video explaining why air purifiers are helpful for our families. I hope you learned a lot about the technologies that each air purifier here has. And if you have any inquiries or questions about our air purifiers, please feel free to reach us at our website, ConcepStore.com, or at our Facebook page, ConcepStore.ph.